Welcome to the Cowboys Versus Ninjas podcast. You know, a brand new addictive story every day. I'm Adrian, your guide to all things awesome and epic. And with me, I have Julia, whose superpower is finding the most fascinating details in every tale we uncover.
That's right.
Julia, are you ready to jump into a world of samurai and some very unconventional allies?
I am absolutely. This sounds like a great adventure.
Okay. So, you shared some source material about this young samurai apprentice named Hiro.
Right.
He's not exactly what you picture when you think of a legendary warrior, is he?
Not really. I mean, the sources describe him as kind of a lovable misfit. He struggles with the traditional skills like swordsmanship.
Right.
But he excels in a way that no one expects.
He does. And you flagged this part about Hiro being able to communicate with dragons.
Uh-huh.
Not the massive fire-breathing kind.
No, exactly. Hiro connects with these smaller, more agile dragons, almost like scaled-down versions of those legendary beasts.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is how he developed this ability. It wasn't some magical gift. It was years of careful observation and mimicry.
Yeah. It's interesting because most people dismissed it as just the wind,
Like wind, right.
But Hiro recognized the patterns, the nuances in the sounds, and he used that to build this connection, which is pretty incredible.
It is, and that connection becomes critical when a wounded dragon seeks him out.
Oh.
In the source material, there's a vivid description of this dragon injured by an arrow practically crash landing at Hiro's feet.
Oh, wow.
And, Hiro helping this creature isn't just an act of kindness. It leads to something extraordinary.
The vision.
The vision, yes.
So Hiro receives this glimpse into the dragon's memories, almost like a psychic link.
Right.
He sees a clawed hand swirling smoke and hears this voice whispering, "Dragon speaker."
It's creepy.
It is creepy. It's also really pivotal.
Yeah, this vision suggests that Hiro's ability isn't just unique, it's potentially dangerous. It puts him in the crosshairs of some unknown force.
Right, and it marks the beginning of his destiny, even if he doesn't fully realize it at this point.
Right, it sets him on a path that will test his abilities and challenge everything he thought he knew about his world.
So Hiro's bond with the dragons deepens, but back at the samurai training grounds, he's still the odd one out.
You can almost feel the frustration in the sources.
Yeah.
The other apprentices don't understand his connection to the dragons.
Right.
They mock him, call him names.
But his master, Takeda, seems to sense that there's something more to Hiro, even if it doesn't fit the traditional samurai mold.
Right. Takeda represents the old guard, the established way of doing things. But there are hints that he's open to new ideas.
Yeah.
Perhaps recognizing that the world is changing and the old ways may not always be enough.
And that becomes clear when this monstrous army of demons emerges from these forbidden mountains, unleashing chaos and fear across the land.
It's interesting how the source material describes this demon army. It's not just a mindless horde. There's a sense of purpose, a strategy behind their attacks. They seem to know exactly what they're after.
So this raises the question, why now? What's changed that allowed them to return after centuries of being dormant?
Well, you provided some historical sources about how these demons were once defeated by a united force of samurai clans and their dragon riders. But centuries of infighting have weakened the clans, leaving them vulnerable.
Right. And Takeda, wise as he is, realizes that their only hope lies in uniting the clans once more.
Wow.
And he sees something in Hiro the dragon weirdo that makes him believe that Hiro is the key to achieving this.
That is a brilliant twist. The fate of the world resting on the shoulders of the most unconventional samurai anyone has ever seen.
Talk about pressure. So Hiro's tasked with convincing these proud, stubborn clan leaders to put aside their differences and fight together.
And it's not an easy task. His first encounters with the lightning-fast Akita clan and the stoic Tanaka clan don't go well.
Oh, no.
They practically laugh him out of their camps.
Oh, man. Can you imagine this clumsy kid who talks to mini dragons trying to convince battle-hardened warriors that he's their only hope?
It's a classic underdog story.
It is. And it sets the stage for what promises to be an incredibly compelling journey. The clash between tradition and innovation, the power of unity, and the unlikely rise of a hero. Welcome back to the Cowboys Versus Ninjas podcast, bringing you another daily dose of epic stories. We're picking up our tale of Hiro, the unconventional samurai, who might just be the key to saving his world from a terrifying demon army.
Last time we left off, you'd given us sources about Hiro being tasked with uniting the fiercely independent samurai clans.
Yeah.
No easy feat.
Not at all.
Especially considering they practically laughed him out of their camps initially.
They did. It's almost like the sources are setting us up for an epic underdog story.
Right.
Would you say
Yeah.
you pointed out that the Akita clan is known for their lightning-fast attacks and the Tanaka for their unwavering strength?
Yes.
How does someone like Hiro, who's described as clumsy and awkward, even begin to bridge the gap between them?
Well, what's interesting here is that Hiro doesn't try to fit into their molds.
Okay.
Instead of eloquent speeches or displays of traditional samurai prowess.
He used what makes him unique, this connection to the dragons.
So instead of trying to be something he's not, he leans into his strengths.
Exactly. You highlighted a section where Hiro's incorporating dragon calls into his training.
Right.
He's not commanding them, but rather working with them, their movements, mirroring his in a way that's both captivating and, yes, a little clumsy.
I can almost picture it. This dance-like fighting style, unpredictable and a bit chaotic, especially in the midst of all that rigid samurai training. That must have caught the attention of the Ikeda and Tanaka clans.
Absolutely. The sources describe a shift in their attitudes. Initially dismissive, they become intrigued by Hiro's unorthodox methods, sensing a potential power they haven't encountered before.
It's almost as if his sincerity shines through his awkwardness, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
He's not trying to be a traditional hero, he's just trying to protect his world.
Right.
And that earnestness resonates with them. There's definitely a sense that the clans, despite their pride and tradition, are desperate. The threat of the demon army is very real.
Yeah.
And they're starting to realize that the old ways might not be enough. Hiro represents a new approach, something outside their rigid structures.
And from what you've shared, it's not just Hiro who's learning and adapting. The sources mention experienced dragon riders.
Yes.
Warriors who've mastered traditional techniques working with him. What's interesting is they're not trying to force him to conform, but rather helping him refine his unique style.
This mentorship is crucial.
Yeah.
It highlights a willingness to embrace new possibilities, to see strength in something unconventional. It's a blending of old and new tradition and innovation.
So the demon army is amassing, the fate of the world hangs in the balance, and we have this unlikely alliance forming, led by the dragon weirdo himself. What happens next? Do we finally get to the epic battle?
That's where we'll pick up in the next part. Get ready for a clash of styles, unexpected strategies, and a whole lot of dragon power.
Welcome back to the Cowboys Versus Ninjas podcast. It's time to conclude our epic tale of Hiro the samurai who communicates with dragons and his quest to unite the divided clans against a formidable demon army. The last we heard, things were looking pretty intense, with an unlikely alliance brewing and some seriously powerful forces at play.
Right. We left off with those experienced dragon riders stepping up to mentor Hiro, helping him hone his unique style. It's a striking image of collaboration, blending traditional knowledge with Hiro's innovative approach. But we also know from your sources that the demon army is a significant threat.
Yeah.
They're organized, strategic, and driven by some unknown purpose.
Okay, so let's talk about this final battle. You highlighted some pretty vivid descriptions of the clash. We got the lightning-fast Akita clan, the powerful Tanaka clan, and of course Hiro and his dragons all fighting alongside each other. What's interesting to me is that the sources never portray it as a clean, perfectly coordinated fight.
Exactly. It's described as chaotic, almost a whirlwind of different fighting styles.
Right.
The Akita's speed and agility create openings. The Tanaka's strength delivers crushing blows, and Hiro, well, he's weaving through it all, his movements mirroring those of his dragon companion.
It's almost like they're all improvising, adapting to the situation as it unfolds. And in the midst of it all is Hiro, not as the traditional leader barking orders, but as this almost conductor-like figure, guiding the flow of the battle through his connection with the dragons.
What stands out to me is the impact of Hiro's clumsiness, that same clumsiness that initially made him an outcast.
Yeah.
The sources describe it as almost an advantage, making his movements unpredictable, constantly throwing the demons off balance.
So he's not just fighting them, he's disrupting their expectations, their strategies. And that plays perfectly into the strengths of the other clans, right? The Akita capitalize on the openings created by the chaos, while the Tanaka use their strength to deliver precise strikes when the enemy is most vulnerable.
It's a beautiful example of how different styles, different strengths can work together to achieve a common goal. And ultimately, that's how the clans guided by Hiro and his unique connection to the dragons push back the darkness and secure a hard-won victory.
It's inspiring to see that this seemingly mismatched group, united by a common purpose and led by an unconventional hero, manages to overcome such a powerful adversary.
It's a powerful message, isn't it?
Yeah.
It speaks to the importance of embracing differences,
Yeah.
of recognizing that strength can come from unexpected sources. And it raises an interesting question about the long-term impact of this victory.
Exactly. The battle is won, but what happens next? Does everything go back to the way it was? Or has Hiro's journey fundamentally changed the landscape of his world?
You pointed out several instances in the sources that suggest a shift in perspective. For example, the Akita, initially skeptical of Hiro's methods, are now acknowledging the value of adaptability.
Right.
The Tanaka, steadfast in their traditions, seem to have gained a newfound respect for unconventional approaches.
So Hiro's impact goes beyond just defeating the demons. He's challenged deeply held beliefs about strength and leadership, opening the door for new possibilities and a more inclusive approach to problem solving.
And let's not forget the younger generation. Imagine the impact Hiro's story has on aspiring samurai who might have felt like outsiders. He's a symbol of hope, proving that even those who don't fit the mold can rise to the occasion and become heroes.
It's a truly inspiring conclusion to an epic tale. Hiro, the clumsy samurai apprentice, not only saves his world but also ignites a change in thinking, paving the way for a future where individuality and collaboration are celebrated. It leaves us with the feeling that this isn't just the end of a story, it's the beginning of something truly remarkable.
And as with all great adventures, it sparks our imagination.
It does.
What challenges will Hiro face next?
Right.
How will his world continue to evolve in the wake of his victory? The possibilities are endless, and that's the beauty of these captivating tales.
Well, that brings us to the end of our look into the story of Hiro and his amazing adventure. We've explored themes of unity, courage, and the power of embracing what makes us unique. What are your thoughts on this epic journey, listeners? What resonated with you most? We'd love to hear your reflections on social media. And if you enjoyed today's story, make sure you rate and follow the Cowboys Versus Ninjas podcast. We're back every day with more captivating tales of samurai and gunslingers, all designed to leave you craving for more. Until next time, may your own adventures be filled with unexpected heroes and the courage to embrace the unconventional